Live.
Mm,
Hello and welcome to
that looked
Derp
weird.
Derp and Friends Reviews. I'm Derp
Looks like it's
Derp.
tucked in. That's terrible. Oh, sorry. Are we live?
Yeah.
Oh. It doesn't. It says start recording now at the bottom.
Oh, I thought we were live. We just weren't recording.
Yeah. Hello. Oh yeah. Oi oi, and welcome to the Driss Dresden channel. I'm Ski Nerd, and that is,
Derp Derp.
and we are here to review some more One Piece. And don't forget to unlike and unsubscribe, because if we get under 10,000 subscribers, we don't have to do One Piece anymore. And that would be fantastic.
On that note, let's see. We are currently at 27,446.
I hate all 27,446 of you.
So keep that
Minus-
up. Don't
minus-
listen to him.
Just keep unsubscribing, and we don't have to do One Piece. That would be fantastic. We can review other stuff, like the Umbrella Academy that just popped up on Netflix. What else? What else can we review? Let's see what happens next. We can review Nobody Wants This. It looks like a romantic comedy that would be terrible to watch, but it's shorter than One Piece.
And, well, quick.
Ooh, Loudermilk. I've actually seen that. It is very good. It has the guy from Office Space in it.
Quick bit of news for those that are fans of the band Sabaton and are in the US or Canada. If you didn't know, they did just announce that their concert film will be in theaters October 30th and 31st. So go get your tickets. I know I'm planning on seeing it.
Oh, look, A Discovery of Witches. We could be watching that instead.
Even though I'll have to travel a little bit, but just
You traveling. Ooh, we could watch Better Call Saul. That's a good movie. I mean, show. It's long, but it's not as long as One Piece. He's just watching memes right now.
yeah, because they're trying to distract me.
I'm not trying to distract you. I'm trying to get people to unsubscribe so we don't have to watch One Piece. That's all.
But we're doing season 2 of One Piece today. Entering the Grand Line is the full season name.
Mm-hmm.
Starting off with the Reversed Island arc.
Episode 61, this is the end of the filler stuff that's not very good. Reminds me of all those like Dragon Ball Z movies where they're like, oh my god, a bad guy, and then they just beat him. Anyways, this had a lot of lore in it. It was very cool how they explained how all this water rushes up a mountain. I had a friend, actually Mulcat, who's done some reviews with us, and he actually showed me this, and one look, and I was just like, there's no way that water goes up a mountain. That's stupid. That's silly. I don't want to watch this. This is dumb. Alright. And now I'm watching this, and I'm absolutely fascinated by how they explain how that works. How all the four oceans of the East Blue, North Blue, West Blue, South Blue, they all converge on this mountain, and the closer you get to it, the stronger the current, and the stronger the current, it goes up this mountain. And coordinating with that is called the Calm Belt. And so the Calm Belt is a place that borders the Grand Line, and that is a place where there's no wind and tons of monsters. And so if you go there, it's a place where you're probably going to die, because you need wind to power a sailboat, or a caravel or a galleon. And they did go there in the filler episodes. for just like 2 seconds, and they got out of there because Luffy's smart, really smart. And now they explain that the calm belt, they're because of the rush of the currents from the four oceans converging, they're the calm belt is calm because there's no current going in them, if that makes sense. I probably explained it twice, but whatever. Anyways, it's absolutely fascinating. So they're able to get up this mountain, and it's like, oh, I wonder what's up there. Maybe there's like, I thought there was going to be like a city up there, maybe like an outpost, or maybe they would get attacked up there. But no, it's all this water from four oceans coming to the top of this mountain and exiting down into the Grand Line. And so it goes down, and then they immediately see something, a giant monster. They're like, oh my god, we're gonna die. We got eaten by this giant whale. And we learn it has like a bunch of scars on its head, and Luffy starts like fighting the whale, and he pokes its eye because he's mad. Because why was he mad? He was mad. He's like, something said, oh, they're trying to eat his food or something. I can't remember, but he got super pissed at this whale.
It also broke the figurehead on the ship first.
Oh, maybe that was it. He's like, you broke my ship.
Yeah.
That was my ship. Go.
And he goes on top of it while everybody else goes inside of it.
Yep. And the whale starts to go underneath, and luckily Luffy finds a door in this whale, which is weird. So it's like, okay, is this a mechanical whale?
And that's what Laboon the whale looks like.
Yep, and then we get it. And the caravel gets inside, and they meet a guy. I forget his name.
Caracas.
Caracas. There he is. Caracas. And we learn that he is a doctor, and he tells the story of how the whale came to be here. And the whale came from the South Blue, and he followed this pirate ship 50 years ago, and they promised they'd come back in a couple years, but they never came back. And it's still waiting and waiting and waiting, and it basically has no hope. But then there's some...
And the scars are from it continuously hitting its head against the red line in anger.
Mm-hmm. And while this is happening, of course, we're introduced to some new people. Mr.
Nine
and Miss
Wednesday.
Miss Wednesday. And they're up to some shenanigans. They basically want to harvest the whale for meat, of course. That's what people do. But this doctor guy, is trying to stop them, and they're eventually defeated. And Luffy takes the mast off the ship and puts it in the top of the whale and starts basically fighting this whale. And they stop, and they're like, it's a draw. But hey, if you want to fight me again, I need you to get stronger so we can fight again. We're pretty equal in strength, and I'll be back in a year. We'll circumnavigate the globe, and we'll be back in a year. So you better be stronger, giving this whale hope again and like a purpose in life. So he draws the straw hat Jolly Roger on its head, and he tells him, hey, don't hit your head on this, you better train instead.
So bold of Luffy to assume it will only take them a year.
Yeah, that's how he's going to be the king of the pirates, because it'll only take him a year. It'll take him like 2 seconds. Duh.
Only if Zoro was the captain of the ship.
Zoro was captain of the ship. They'd all be dead.
No, they would have just went straight to the One Piece. Or to a different anime altogether.
Yeah, probably that. They'd probably be in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe. We never know. You see Zoro playing cards, and he's like, there's something I'm supposed to do today. Playing cards. Anyways.
For those that don't understand that meme, Zoro's horrible at directions.
Yep. Oh, I forgot to mention another thing. As they were going into the Grand Line, we learned that half of all people going in there, trying just to get to the mountain, half of people die because their ship crashes on the rocks from the strong current, and there's like a little window of water that actually goes up. The other currents actually hit the mountain and go straight down. So it's definitely possible to die. Actually, Luffy saved on that using his Gomu balloon because their rudder was actually broken. So that was very lucky that they have Luffy, and yeah, Luffy's with them. So yeah, so they're done with that, and they see these Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday, and Mr. Nine and Miss Wednesday, they're like, oh, we're from a secret organization, we can't tell you who we are, but can we get a ride to our home? And I forgot what the home was called. Did I write that down? I think I wrote it down. I promise. Oh, right. We learn about the log pose. Yeah, that was also cool, the log pose. So these are special compasses. Like Nami realizes that her compass isn't working, it just keeps spinning. And they're told by Mr.
Carcass.
Nine, oh, it was him?
Yeah.
That each island has its own attuned type of magnetism, which is why no compasses work there. And in order to go from island to island, you have to stay on the island for
long enough for it to tune your compass to tune to it.
Yep. And it could take hours, or it could take weeks, or it could take years. You just never know until you get there, and it has to click into place. So that was kind of cool. And so they're, the next episode they're traveling, and it's snowing, and then people are complaining. It was sunny like 2 seconds ago, and now it's snowing, and now it's thundering out, and now it's raining. So these things change. And Nami looks away from her what do they call them?
We're also introduced to Miss Wednesday's pet duck, Karoo.
Oh. Already?
Or was it?
I think it was on the. I think it was on the island that they went to.
I thought it was also in the.
It could have been. I don't remember, honestly.
I put it in the first arc.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, we'll see it eventually. Let's see. FP people going to Grand Line. So that log pose, talked about that. Mr. Nine, Miss Wednesday, magnetism. Oh, and then we learn about the island of Raftel, which is the final island, which is where like one person made it, and that was confirmed.
Gold Roger.
Yeah, he was confirmed to make it to that island, and that was apparently the last island. And they're like, "Oh, is the One Piece there?" And the guy that was helping him, what was his name? Crocus. He was like, "We don't know. Like nobody knows. It's still a mystery because of this whole Grand Line thing is just chaotic as hell." And
it was essentially before Gold Roger became king. First of all, to use it in our own history terms, the Grand Line was essentially what Japan was during the Sengoku period, meaning just a bunch of islands warring against each other.
Oh.
At least that's how I took it as.
Okay. I just took it as complete chaos, and it makes sense as we go island to island. Every island is like different, and
yeah,
whole range of characters. And
I don't know if that was meant as a whatever that term is called.
Analogy.
Yeah, analogy to the Sengoku period, but to me that's how I took it as.
Oh, sweet.
Just kind of like,
if you disagree with them, put it in the comments below.
A analogy from this world of One Piece to Japan's Warring States period. And in that sense, you could probably say Gold Roger would possibly be Nobunaga Oda. Maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Anyways, so that was
Or,
episode 62, 63.
Tokugawa?
So, starting with episode 64, they make it to Whiskey Peak.
I typed it in wrong, but Whippy Peak apparently.
Whiskey Peak, and they are welcomed as heroes, these mighty pirates. And the mayor comes along. Me. He likes to make sure his voice is correct before he talks. They give him food. They give him drink. They give him female company.
Of course, makes Sandry happy.
Yeah, Sanji is flirting with 20 girls at once. It's got to be a record. Luffy is eating all the food he can. Sanji is drinking, and Nami is, I forget what Usopp did. Oh, he was telling stories. He was telling like fake story after fake story. Inspirational Usopp song number 743, kind of thing. And then Nami and Zoro were drinking, doing a drinking contest basically. And the prize was 100,000 berries. And of course, Nami is like, yes, I will do it for the money, of course, absolutely. So they were all having a good time. And once you know, they're trying to get them. Oh no. It turns out they're not good people. And the only people who realize this is, well, just Zoro. So Zoro comes and they're having a meeting. They're talking about, hey, we're the Baroque works. They're a bunch of bounty hunters, and they recognize Luffy, and they want his 30 million berry bounty, and that's how they make money and stuff. And so they're all talking outside. They're like, haha, we found these guys. They ate all our food. They're all passed out. We're going to do our work. And the guy there, is that number 8? He's number 8, right? Or Mr. 8?
I believe so.
Yeah. Mr. 8. Did I write that down? Mr. 8.
Let's see.
I did not write it down, but that's okay.
I can easily look it up.
So,
yep, Mr. 8.
Yep. And so Zoro comes out and he's like, oh, there's 100 of you. I'm going to take you all on. And they're like, haha, there's no way you can take us. And they start fighting, and Zoro is having a fun time. Just getting one person after the other. Getting, oh, I got you. And Zoro is introduced to a shotgun. And this guy, number 8, his saxophone is also a shotgun. And his hair has guns in it, too. Which is kind of crazy. But they're all, like, shooting at him. And you have Mr. 9 and Miss Wednesday fighting as well. And during the fighting, they're getting their butts beat, right? We're also introduced to Miss Monday. She's a hulk of a woman, and she was pretending to be a nun. Not her.
Yeah.
Yeah, her. There we go. And she's defeated by Zoro. And Zoro's like just kicking butt all day. He can take these guys. And he's basically testing his new toys. His new, what is it called? Kitetsu 3 and the, let's see, Yubashiri. Yeah, Yubashiri. So he's having fun. And this was a fun fight. It was nothing but brutality, and seeing Zoro take on these guys, and they're introduced to people who are numbered. They're like, oh yeah, I remember you guys. Oh, Zoro knew about the Baroque works because he was recruited by them, and so he was always been aware because he's a swordsman. And they're fighting, and then during the middle of the fight, we're introduced to two more characters, number 5, or Mr. 5, and Miss Valentine. And we don't really know what their powers are, but there's a curiosity of why they're there. And they say when they get there, well, we have good information that there's traitors in our midst. And we learn that the traitors are the mayor himself, number 8, or Mr. 8, and Miss Wednesday. We learn that Miss Wednesday is a princess of...
Princess Vivi of Alabasta.
I'm always going to call her Miss Wednesday, because I don't want to call her princess, because whatever.
You could just call her Vivi.
Vivi? Miss Wednesday. Or Princess Vivi. Vivi, there you go. We learn that they have infiltrated the Baroque works, and they're to be assassinated. And we learn that there's shenanigans happening in their country, and the Baroque works is trying to overthrow their kingdom. And so they infiltrated Baroque works to see what information they could find. And so Mr. 8 sacrifices himself. He puts his life on the line to protect her, and so she could run away. And I think this is where we're introduced to her duck. This is where her duck is. They left the duck there. And they're running around, more shenanigans, more fighting. This is a great fight. This is a great couple episodes here. This starts with episode 64, and by the time we're almost done, the other, Nami wakes up, and she's like, aha, I was awake, I was aware the whole time. Her goal was to steal stuff, wait for everybody to fall asleep and steal stuff. So she was awake, and everybody's fighting, and then Luffy gets thrown awake. He gets beat or something like that, and he has to go pee. That's what it is. Luffy has to go pee, so he looks at Zoro, and Zoro's being on all these guys that gave him food and stuff like that. And so Luffy gets mad at Zoro, and they start fighting, and he's mad at Zoro because he's like, these guys give us free food and free drink. Why are you attacking them? This pisses me off. And they start fighting, and everybody's confused. They're like, why are they fighting? They thought they were on the same side. And, Zoro's trying to explain. He can't really explain it too good. And eventually he gets through his head. I think Nami yells at them to stop fighting, and Luffy finally understands what's going on. He's like, oh, I thought you were mad at them because you didn't like the food. You shouldn't throw away food. But no, they were trying to kill them. So more shenanigans happen, and Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine are fighting, and I think do they get their butts beat, or I think because their mission is just to kill that guy, and the princess. So their mission is basically done, and they think they're both dead. So they're like, oh, okay, we're done, we're gonna leave, cool. And number 8, or Mr. 8, has a plan. He starts, dressing as Luffy. He's like, if I go in one direction, you guys go another direction, we'll split them in two, and we'll confuse them. My hair's all off. I can see it. It looks weird. Anyways, and what else happens? Oh yeah, he goes to take a ship, and all of a sudden the ship explodes, and we're introduced to, I think you gotta scroll up.
Yeah, Miss All Sunday.
Miss All Sunday, and she's like, yes, I am. Oh, yeah, right. I forgot to talk about Mr. Zero. So we learn a little bit before that. The Princess Vivi accidentally spills the beans on who the leader is, and it's a person named Crocodile, who is one of the 7 warlords of the Grand Line.
That's why she's being hunted, is because she knows his identity.
Yes, exactly. and he doesn't want his identity to be known by anyone. So it's Nami, Luffy, the princess, and Zoro are all sketched, and there's these two little guys. I think they're called the unluckiest. It's like a vulture and what's the other, like a honey badger or something, or weasel. I don't know. I think you had a picture of them.
Kung Fu Dugan, I think, is the actual name for him.
There it is. That's one of them. The other one is a vulture, but they start sketching, and they're like, okay, cool, we got the sketches, we got people that are gonna hunt them because they know too much information, and then the ship explodes, and they're like, okay, and then Miss All Sunday, she says, oh yeah, I work with Crocodile, but I'm not officially supposed to be here. But
She's Crocodile's partner, basically.
Yeah.
Because all numbers has one holiday or one female partner.
Yeah. And the lower the number, the stronger you are, basically. And let's see, Crocodile, Miss All Sunday, and so she gives them a permanent, what is it called? Natural log pose, or log pose or whatever. Log pose, and she's like, oh, this will get you to that island you want to go to, because you don't want to go to the other island, because that's crazy.
No, they get that later.
No, she gives them one, but then Luffy crushes it. Yeah, and he's like, well, and Luffy doesn't like her because she killed Mr. 8, and he just looks at her like, I don't like you. Like, and when Luffy says he doesn't like you, you're probably a bad person. So he crushes it because he doesn't trust her, basically. Now he gets all mad, and she's like, oh, I don't want to go to the little garden. No, that's gonna be scary. Blah blah blah. And so then they're off on their way to Little Garden, and in the next episode 68, 68 and 69 pertain to Kobe and Helmeppo.
I forgot to add those parts, but
That's okay. It's just very short, because I think they've seen them before. If you want to do it quick, you can, but I'll talk
the only one that hasn't, because this is the first time you see Garp.
Okay. Anyways. Oh, right. The Vice Admiral Garp. Yeah. So we get an update on Kobe and Helmeppo, and thank God it's only been, 70 episodes since we've seen them. And this is highly anticipated. I really like Kobe. We are informed immediately that Kobe and Helmeppo is the son of, what's his name?
Captain Morgan.
Captain Morgan, the guy with the axe hand and the metal jaw. They're both Choro boys, and Kobe is inspired by Luffy, and Helmeppo doesn't want to do any work. He wants to go back to where it was, where all these Navy people would cater to him hand and foot, and he didn't have to do any work. And he's all just like mopey and doesn't want to work. And Kobe is like taking any job he can. He's like, anything I do to help, anything I can do to help. He's like, I want to achieve my dream of being an officer in the Navy. And then one day they're fighting, and they break something. They break a cannon, and they're forced to commit 50 years with no pay to be in the Navy, or they can run. And this is when we're introduced to the Vice Admiral Garp. He is a badass, and we learned that he's been up for 5 days eating donuts. So that's fun. And they are there to take Helmeppo's dad to a different location. This is where Helemepo keeps talking to Kobe about how his dad is his inspiration. He looks up to his dad, and he doesn't really have any intention to fight anything. He kind of does, and Kobe's like getting him on the right path basically. And so what happens is Captain Morgan, he's under arrest, and he breaks free. He slashes at the admiral, and he gets into a boat and starts sailing away. And at this, Kobe realizes he can do something. He's like, "No, I'm gonna." He steps in front of the cannon because they're about to shoot him with the cannon, and he's like, "No, I'm gonna catch him." And they all start laughing at him because he's this little scrawny kid. It's like, what's he gonna do? That guy's on a boat. You're gonna swim there? I don't think so. And so he steps in, and he dives into the water and swims after him. And then Helemepo follows. I forget for what reason, but he follows him, and they both get on the boat. And the whole theme up to this point was, are you gonna die for your dream? Put your life on the line for your dream. And Kobe's fighting this Captain Morgan. We all know that Captain Morgan was going to kick their butts, no matter what. And he's just like biting and trying to do everything. And Helemepo is there. He's like, "Dad, you gotta come with us. You can't be running away like this." And Captain Morgan, swings his axe at his own son. And this is like a huge revelation for Helemepo. He's like, "What are you doing, Dad? Like, why are you swinging?" He's like, "I have no son." And it's like, you're a failure, basically. And he's like, "You guys are so weak. I don't even want to kill you." So he just grabs him and throws him out the boat. And they get, Kobe and Helemepo are standing in front of the vice admiral, and they're like, "Oh, you're about to be punished." They're like, "Oh, you're gonna kick us out?" He's like, "No, I'm not gonna kick you out, but I'm gonna give you a choice. You can either come with me to Navy headquarters, or you can run away." And they're given like a little time to decide. And Kobe wants to stay in the Navy, and they keep eating with that. What was that girl's name that saved Zorro at the beginning of the series?
I don't remember.
I can't remember, but she was bad at making food. But they're back at that bar place or whatever, and they're complaining that we have to, we're being punished. We're barely here. We gotta not only work for 50 years, but we gotta now we have to either run or work at the Navy HQ. And Kobe gives a very nice speech pertaining to follow your dreams and put your life on the line. Are you going to follow your dreams with me or without me? And Helemepo just decides there and then. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna do what I can." So then they're taken to the HQ. The little girl gets all mad because they're leaving, and then they see all these other soldiers doing, "Oh, you got to do 1,000 push-ups. Oh, run 200 laps. Oh, climb this rope 50 times." Doing all this hard work, and Helemepo immediately is like, "Oh my God, I don't want to do that." And Kobe's like really scared of what's happening, and like they're working around Astroba still, and on their own they decide, "Hey, we want to get stronger." Helemepo wants to surpass his dad, and Kobe wants to be a naval officer, and so they start training together. And Vice Admiral Garb has them followed to see what they're doing, and they start training by themselves. And then he's like, "All right, I'm going to train you guys to be. You guys want to catch the bad guys? All right, let's train." And they start training and stuff like that, and it's a cool training montage. This is really fun to see Kobe and Helemepo, these two weaklings, just like all of a sudden just start working out, and they're doing all these push-ups. They're fighting each other. They're running laps. They're climbing these ropes, and you can see them building muscle. So this whole time they're training, and then they're going to the Grand Line right after that. So all that fighting that Luffy was doing with his crew and all that stuff, this whole time Kobe was getting stronger with Helmeppo, and Helmeppo was a big surprise. You know, you don't see that coming, which is cool. And so now they're going to the Grand Line, and he's like, haha, I made it, Luffy, I made it to the Grand Line. We'll see what happens, kind of thing. So that was those 2 episodes. I may have rambled on, but those are really fun for me. Just seeing what kind of training the different sects do. What the sext, SECTS. It's hard to say. Kevin can himself.
Thank you for censoring yourself.
Well, it's censored, so I can't do it. I don't know what it says. Kevin can fruit himself? Oh, that's weird. He must like fruit. Okay. So then we were back in reality. Oh, it's fun to see how the Navy trains, and how, you know, Zoro was training as a kid, and how these people, different training techniques, and, you know, Sanji too training. We don't really see a whole lot of his training, but we know what he went through. Anyways, all right, continuing that. They make it to the little garden.
Yep.
And this is fun. I think this is episode 70 where they make it to the little garden, and we see a man talking. Whatever, it kind of cuts to it, and his name is Mr. 3. There he is. And at this point, we don't know what is. I guess it looks like he kind of has a power in this photo, but he's Mr. 3, and he's there to get Luffy, and he's also he's there to get a contract for these 2 giants that are kind of running around, but we don't know that yet. But doesn't matter. We're gonna talk about it right now. So everybody gets off the boat, and Luffy's like, "Oh, I want to go on an adventure! Yay!" And Sanji and Zoro decide to hunt for food, and they have a contest to see who can get the biggest animal. And they go do their thing, and Luffy does his thing. He's having fun going on the Brontosaurus, and he gets really tall, and he tries to treat the Brontosaurus like a horse, but he ends up choking it, and all these other Brontosauruses come, and they're mad at Luffy, and he's just playing with them. He's just like, "Oh, I gotta go higher. I want to see as far as I can go." And all of a sudden, like, this giant creature comes by, and you see an axe swing. Nami and Usopp stay on the boat because they're absolutely terrified of this place, because there's nothing but, like, dinosaurs everywhere. They learn that there's a giant, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll give you alcohol if you don't kill us, please." And he's like, "Oh, okay, alcohol, this is great, awesome." And the big giant guy, he had cut the Brontosaurus' head off, and he's like, "Oh, here's some meat. Where's that alcohol? I got to give you some meat because you gave me alcohol." And then Luffy and who was with Luffy? Was it the princess?
Vivi, yep.
Vivi
And Guru.
they encounter a different giant.
Here's one of the giants, Bragi, and there's the other one, Dory.
Yeah. One was Bragi and one was Dory. And we learn that they are in a 100-year duel. And every time this volcano erupts, they have to fight. And when it erupts again, then they stop fighting. And they've had like 73,600 and some duels, and they all came out as draws. And we also learn, this is lore, this is really cool lore, that each island has its own culture due to isolation. So this island is prehistoric. It's very 65 million years ago plus that we know of dinosaurs, and because of the weird isolation thing, every island is going to be different. Some are trapped in time, like this one, and they don't evolve like the rest of the planet or even other islands.
At one point, we even get won't say much, but even like a very futuristic one too. At one point.
Okay, sweet. And
I won't say anything other than that. That isn't very spoiler.
Thank you. So they're fighting, and then they also talk to the giants. They're like, "Hey, how long do we have to wait for our log pose to get to the next island?" The giants like, "Oh, it's about a year." And they're like, "A year? Oh, we can't wait that long." And the princess is upset when she learns this, because she needs to get back to Alabasta as fast as possible to stop this chaos that's happening. So that was basically episodes 68 to 71. 72 to 77 is the last episodes of this, and it's very good. We learned that Mr. 3 is definitely stronger than number 5 and Miss Valentine. We learned that Miss Valentine has devil fruit power.
No, we did that. We learned that during Wispy Peak.
Oh, whiskey. I like how you accidentally spelled it wrong there, but you kept saying it as Wispy. That's just your memory. It's just like, oh yeah, I wrote it down as Wispy. Isn't it? Like your mind plays tricks on you. You know, like it's just so funny. Like I do that all the time. I was talking about, what was I talking about? Warren. I was talking about like Warren Buffett and how he's like taking his money out of the stock market. And instead of saying Warren Buffett, I said, "Who's the pina colada guy?"
I think in the dub, I think it says Wispy.
No, I said whiskey.
In the dub.
Oh, in the dub?
Yeah.
Oh, because of alcohol. That makes sense. But in the Japanese, it's whiskey. Anyways, so she has... Oh, we forgot to talk about Mr. 5.
No, because then I might have seen it as Wispy at one point, but...
It probably is that in the dub.
4Kids, they switch it to Misty.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. So Mr. 5, he ate the bomb fruit, and he can make his body explode, or anything that's inside of his body, he can make it an explodable thing. So he likes to pick his nose and fling boogers at people and have them explode. So, yay. Anyways, Miss Valentine, the woman with the umbrella, she ate the kilo berry, or devil fruit, and she can change her body weight at will. So she can actually float, and then if she wants to, she can become Kirby, turn into a stone, and just land on people. She can go from 1 kilogram to 10,000 kilograms in a second. So that's how they're fighting. So Mr. 3 had this very sneaky plan to kill these guys for their bounty, because it was like each one is worth 100 million berries, and that was like 100 years ago. And so these guys are fighting, and after we see the first fight, this guy who's on screen right now, I think that's Bragi. He drinks the alcohol, and it explodes in his body. So now he's bleeding after this fight, and he blames Luffy and the princess for this. And Luffy gets mad because he's like, "No, someone interfered with your fight." And he actually fights the giant to put some sense into him and knocks him out. And then the volcano explodes, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a strong warrior. I have to go even though I'm injured," kind of thing. And so he takes his rock house or whatever and puts it on Luffy, so Luffy can't interfere with the duel. And they start dueling again, and Bragi gets knocked out. And at this time, Mr. 3 comes out and he's just like, hey, I have my magic power. And we learned that he ate the wax devil fruit, and he basically he can make wax at will, and he can cover your body. We learned he can also make duplicates. He tricks Nami and Zoro into thinking like Luffy and the princess were there, and when they weren't, so they were trapped basically. And so he also, this is when he attacks the Dory guy, the Dory giant, and he fills him with wax and locks his arms down, and he's trying to escape. He's like, even though you're super strong, you can't get out of this wax. It's like iron. And he has Zoro, Nami, and Vivi standing by this carousel of wax, and this carousel of wax is spewing heated wax, and it's slowly waxing their body. And every time someone comes there to try to save them, there's Mr. 5 that interferes, there's Miss Valentine that interferes, and so it becomes annoying. And we get to see a bunch of Kuro, I think the bird person. Karoo. And we get to see Yasop fighting, and that's cool.
And there's also Miss Golden Week too.
Yeah, that is Miss Golden Week, and she comes into play later in the battle. But at this point in the battle, Luffy eventually comes, and he gets his legs entrapped. That's one of his powers that the number 3 uses, or Mr. 3. He puts a thing on his legs, and Luffy goes, "Oh, I'm like a mallet. Okay, this is cool." So he swings himself around one of the horns of the giant, and he goes in circles like really quick, and he slams into he's told to they have to get rid of the spitting carousel in order to save the 3 of them, Zoro and Nami and the princess. And he does that, and it comes down, and it spins even faster, and number 3 is like, "Oh, hey, you did a great thing. Now it's spinning faster, so you'll become my pieces of art even faster." So he's going to kill them by covering them with wax. And Luffy doesn't like Mr. 3 because he's being devious and not fighting face to face. And then Luffy's about to attack the carousel again to try to free them, and he gets attacked by her, Miss All Week.
Golden Weekend.
Golden Weekend. Did I write her name down? Miss Golden Week. There we go. And her power, she doesn't. I think she's a witch, because she doesn't. They don't say that she has a devil fruit power. She just has paint power. Has to do with magic or something like that.
Could also be kind of just like alchemy.
Yeah, it could be. And she uses different colors to do different things to people. So she uses black to basically have. He steps on a symbol with the black, and it stops him cold, and all of a sudden he doesn't want to do anything. He's
basically changes their emotions.
Yeah, it's emotions. Thank you. Let's see. I'm looking at the colors. So black, red makes you enraged. Blue makes you sad, and yellow makes you laugh. So she puts different paints on him, and the green was the tranquil one. So she combined, which is really cool thing to have, yellow and blue to make green, to have a different power, which made Luffy want to drink tea. And so this is happening, and Usopp, the almighty Usopp and the duck, Kuro? I can't remember. Karoo, thank you.
Because Kuro's the guy with the claws.
Oh, right. Karoo, and they're the most cowardly people there, but he's like, I'm going to do something, so he fires things at different people, and it doesn't work, so they run away. And in one scene, the duck is told to run away, and then you see Usopp right behind him. No, you're not supposed to run without me, you stupid duck. And they're both running away super quick. And Usopp's just really good at running away. Woo! Get all that practice. And what else happens? They start fighting, and he has a special fire sling, and he fires it, and Mr. Five is able to eat them and just have it explode in his body or whatever. And for one of them, he gets tricked, and he's like, "Oh, I'm doing an exploding one," and he fires it at Mr. Five, and Mr. Five's like, "Aha, I ate it." He's like, "Oh, you just ate a Tabasco sauce one. Let's see how fiery you can get." And he's like, "Ah." It was like his experiment to see if it would work, and so then he can't fire anymore. Because I think he got trapped by some of the wax. And he has Karoo, right? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Karoo take a rope and wind it around the carousel and the giant. And he's like, I'm gonna light this thing on fire. And what the bad guys don't realize is that this rope is covered in oil, a flammable oil. So he just has to do like one little shot. So he has Luffy he's like, "Luffy, take that flame of number 3. And Luffy's like, "Oh, okay, I'll take it." And he puts it on the rope, and it starts melting everything. And this is like nail biting thing, because it's like everything they try to do is swatted down. They get slapped down every time, and they're like losing chances, but they don't give up, which is great. And they're able to free all of them, and they all get free, even the giant. And at this point, actually, they only had about 30 seconds to live because they're covered in wax. You can't breathe. So them being freed is awesome. And then we get and they're like, "Where's Sanji?" Sanji's like still hunting this whole time. He's not even there. He finds Mr. Three's hideout, and he gets a call from Mr. Zero, Crocodile, and Crocodile thinks he's talking to Mr. Three, but he's not. And he's like, "Oh, have you finished the mission?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I finished the mission." He's like, "Oh cool, I got the unluckiest to come and confirm it, and the luckiest come into Mr. Three's hideout, and he has to fight him off." He's like, "What was that?" Yeah, that was, I had to finish off Luffy. I thought he was dead, but he wasn't." "Oh, so you're lying to me?" He's like, "Yeah, if you put it that way, I guess I was, but now it's taken care of." And it cuts to Crocodile, and he's talking, I think he was talking to Miss All Sunday, right?
Yep.
And he was like, "Oh, we need to get Mr. 2 over there. We need to kill Mr. 3 because Mr. 3 failed in his mission or whatever. I don't trust him." And so the unluckiest are defeated by Sanji, and he finds a permanent log pose to Alabasta. So
it's a eternal log pose is the English.
Okay, it's called, I think they call it permanent in Japanese, and I'll have to double check, or maybe I wrote it down. Goldfish. Eternal. It is eternal. You're right. Eternal pose. And they're all like upset, and they won the day. This is actually a really good fight to see courage versus cowardice. Like, not Mr. 3 as a coward. Oh, we forgot to mention his mechanical suit that he made. Here's a wax suit that he made. He doesn't last for very long. He gets defeated right away because they're able to figure out that fire melts the wax, and that's its weakness.
It's funny because he even has a flaming wick on the top of his head.
Yeah, he used that to make the wax. He molds it and stuff like that. And that's how he was covering them in wax. That's how they figure out, oh, if you melt the wax, you can form it into different things. And as a person who has worked with wax myself, this is absolutely confirmed. I've worked with irons and wax and putting them on skis, and that's actually really fun. And you get a lot of practice out of that, working with wax. And your hands get all waxy, and it's cool. Anyways, enough about that. We are actually almost done. So now they have an eternal pose. They're, Nami's being a stuck-up female dog, and she was just yelling at Sanji. Sanji, where were you the whole time? We were almost dead. Blah 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 blah. And he's like, I was over at this hideout I found, and I found this eternal pose. Do you want it? And she's like, oh my god, I love you. And she's like half naked, and he gives her his jacket, and of course he's in love with not only Nami, but he's also in love with Princess Vivian, and he'll be there forever. And now they're able to leave. They don't have to wait a year, and these two giants are like, well, you helped us with our duel. You helped us with what we're doing, and actually this is where Dory not Dory, Bragi, the guy who was defeated in battle, wakes up, and they realize that they're friends and stuff like that, and there's an argument. They hear the argument between Zoro and Sanji about getting the biggest hunt. They're like, oh, that kind of sounds familiar, indicating that they probably were fighting over who had the better kill or something like that over a hunt, and they were fighting over 100 years. And the only reason Bragi was actually still alive, he wasn't killed, was because they've been using these same weapons for 100 years, so they're all dull, and it didn't slice through him. It just knocked him out, kind of thing, which is really funny. But then they leave, right? Yep. On their ship, the Going Merry, and there is a giant goldfish in the way, and these giants are like, this giant goldfish is called the Island Eater, and they're there to help them escape. And so as they're going straight into this goldfish's mouth, the two giants swing their weapons at it with a magical power somehow, and they put a hole right through that goldfish. And even Usopp is like, a giant goldfish that makes poop and turns them into islands. That sounds familiar. Because it was a fake. It was a story he was making up. He didn't know it was real. Yeah, but this fish was called Island Eater, and it makes poop that's the size of islands. And these two giants are like, oh yeah, we went on to one of these islands and we didn't realize it was giant poop. So his story was actually real, which is really great. But they're able to start going to the next island, and that's where we end off. And that's where season 3 is gonna start.
Did he mention the injury Nami has?
What was her injury? Oh, she had a bug bite, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's like, ow! There's like a giant bug bite on her stomach, and she's like, ow! And Zoro's like, are you okay? And she's like, oh yeah, it's just a bug bite. So indicating something is gonna happen with Nami, but we don't know yet.
That's why I wanted to bring it up, just because.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I'm glad you did.
I know it will.
Because it was super brief. It was like 5 seconds of them talking about that. Oh, it's nothing. Okay. But when I saw it, I remember I was like, oh, that's gonna be something. But yeah, so that season, it wasn't the best. I think them fighting Arlong was a lot better, especially with the Nami backstory. But this was just an introduction to a bunch of new characters. I didn't really like the candle fight, but I did like the giants and their like continuous duel, and Usopp looking up to them. He's like, I want to be a warrior just like you guys. And he's trying to explain to Nami like, this is how warriors do it, and she doesn't understand. Because it's like a manly thing that you want to fight, and usually when you fight someone you get to know them better, and that's why those two giants became friends. And they were fighting, even though they were trying to kill each other. They were still friends. But that was the way of Elob, their god, and Elob gave them the strength to for them to both live and continue. They were rewarded for their continuous fighting, and they were able to help Luffy. So yeah, that was kind of cool. Let's see. I like the whale. I love the lore of the Grand Line and how the mechanics of that work. It's absolutely fascinating. What's also fascinating is how the mechanics of the islands work. So for that island they were on, the little garden, it takes a year for a non-permanent log pose to align with the next island. And you can go through they mentioned that you can go through the Grand Line multiple times and be on different routes because it'll connect to different islands or whatever. I think they said you can choose. I can't remember.
Yeah,
you can choose which frequency or whatever that you want to lock onto, and so you can go through there multiple times and find different islands and find different people, and who knows what's happening while you're like on the other side of the planet, for example. There could be something. There could be another fight where someone else takes over, and it could be completely different, which is absolutely fascinating. So I'm curious to see what the crocodile is and what his plan is, and see Alabasta and see that arc that's next. I don't know how many episodes that is. Is it a long one?
Next one's just another 15.
15? Excellent. I like 15. That's a great number. Isn't it?
Then the one after that is 30.
Oh, we can split that into two, right?
Yep.
Sweet. We're not even at 100. I hate you guys. Making me do this. This is torture. Okay, but I made the promise. It's not too late to unsubscribe, guys. Not too late. I know some of you were bribed with candy, but
What, I've been sitting here talking to somebody on Discord that actually just subscribed.
Hey!
From Anime Out of Context Discord.
Oh, okay. How dare you? What are they saying? Maybe you can stream it some. What is it on? It's a stream. But, oh yeah.
Just
Suggesting different things
Yep. Metal Gear and
Metal Gear Solid, playing a little game called. I mean, reviewing TV shows. I mean,
No.
you can play it. I've seen it before. Metal Gear Solid. It's really fun.
I've played one or two of them.
Yeah, but if you played, you'd have to I think people would like it if you reacted, maybe, or maybe you can set it as, hey, suave guy plays games, and you just sit there and you don't say anything.
I talk if I know people are there and start talking.
Yeah.
I talk.
Because some YouTubers and streamers and Twitch streamers, some people like the commentary that comes with it, and it is dependent on your style and how you're playing the game.
And I'm slowly working on that with Pokemon.
Okay.
Trying to talk more.
Yeah, because and then interacting with the people who are giving you suggestions if you get a high enough subscriber count. Because one streamer I like to watch is Mapocalypse. He's about 50,000 subscribers, but he very much enjoys games. He started playing Half-Life, and I like Half-Life, and I played the first two, and then I watched him play it again, and it was a joy to watch. And sometimes he makes a lot of mistakes when he plays the game, but everybody's kind of different, and it depends on what kind of style you want. And he's a person who interacts with people, and he'll be like, all right, we're gonna find the secrets, but maybe he won't find the secrets, but he'll go off and make a different video and edit it in if he misses something. But he's really good with the lore of. He played the Half-Life, the Alexa. No, what's her name? Alexis. The girl that's in Half-Life 2. Alexa or Alexis, I can't remember her name, but
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
I knew that was gonna happen eventually.
I did not see that coming. Someone just hit me in the back of the head, sniped me. Roll 20. Oh my god. Yeah, those are fun games. Is he watching the stream right now, or is he just chatting?
Just chat. It's for
Oh, stop dying, Jesus.
I actually went pretty good without coughing for. How long is this recording been
Ooh,
going?
come on, baby. Come on, baby.
For
All right, so
over an hour.
Yeah, I think we're done. We're wrapping it up here.
Join us here in about 2.5 hours we're gonna go watch Beetlejuice, the first one.
Yep.
And join us afterwards. We're gonna review it.
And then later on in October, sometime in October, we might go see it if it's still in theaters and review that. He hasn't seen Beetlejuice. I saw it when I was a lot younger. Oh, how dare you! How dare you! No, what happened? Oh, come on, man. Come on. No.
Or maybe even.
Gross.
Sorry. Your next choice. 2 weeks from now, we could probably even just go see it. It might have to be during the week again, like on my day off, since I'll be week of October. I'll be working Friday, Saturdays,
Look at the loss.
all
That's
days.
good.
Or
Sorry,
all day.
I'm distracted. I'm doing fantasy baseball. I'm in the championship, so this is pretty important.
For the month, I'll be working Friday, Saturday, all day. So we'll have to do our movie reviews on probably Thursdays. So maybe even 2 weeks from now, we can go see Beetlejuice.
Yeah. So I'm at 24. Just hit 5.
And
I'll get the loss.
join us in about 2.5 hours for a review of Beetlejuice. We're gonna go watch it. I'm Derp.
Well, I'm Ski Nerd. I'm playing fantasy sports. If you like that, put it in the chat below and be like, hey, fantasy sports are awesome. I'm going to go check the football score now.
And we're probably gonna do season 3 of One Piece next Thursday again. I assume.
Yeah, that sounds right. Plenty of time, 14 episodes.
Drum Island arc. See ya.